y'all, welcome back to Samber Style. You guys are in for a treat. This episode is packed full of a lot of DIY pro tips.
Yes, indeed. We remodeled our main entrance going onto our rooftop bar, outdoor kitchen. I took down the railings, put new railings in, painted the staircase, cable railings, and I finished it off with the carpet threads.
Yeah, it's a jam-packed episode. My favorite part is definitely those cable railings. I was shocked how easy they are. So you're giving those step-by-step tips, DIY tips, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it was super easy and it came out great.
So let's go.
Let's go. And now it's time to take on these nasty stairs. So I'm gonna be replacing the railing and then also show you guys step by step how to install cable railings if that's something you're interested in. And then we're also gonna be painting the staircase and putting new step threads on top of it. So yeah, let's get to it. So first thing is, before I take this off, I'm gonna be planting a post right here, just next to this faucet. So once that's planted, I'm gonna have a half post here because I don't want a post to go through where my door opens and closes. So I'm gonna do a half post here, and then I'm gonna plant another post right here at the end, and then basically have 3 posts with my cable running through it. 2 layers on top here, what I'm thinking, like a 2x4, and then on top of that a 2x6 that's gonna be stained, similar to what we have on top of the boathouse, so it'll all kind of flow together.
Have any pro tips on digging a hole?
Pro tips on digging a hole: just make sure you eat breakfast and maybe a cup of coffee, and maybe in the 2 hours have a Red Bull.
Babe, you're doing it pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm a 2-minute man.
So how deep are you making this hole?
About 2 feet, just to get the post in, because I'm going to put up like I'm using a 12-foot post, but I'm obviously going to get it 2 feet in, and then basically the same height as it is up there. So that's why I'm leaving this in, so I can put the post in where I want to, put it next to it, and I know how high I need to cut it. Get this nice and square so the post can fit in here, and then get that out the way so I can get the post flush to this pad.
So that's why you have the chisel?
That's why I have the chisel, to chisel out this concrete. For chisel my nizzle.
What'd you get? What'd you
Gold! I found gold! Okay, so we got a little roadblock here as I'm planning out my post. I need to move this post a little bit over to get it straight, because I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera, but it's not straight. The bottom needs to move over a little bit to the left, and this spigot is in the way. So I'm gonna drill a hole basically in the middle, in between the wall and the post, so it's center, and then move the spigot over there, and then I should have space to move my post over and have it straight. Let's see if it will come off. This railing is about ready to come off, so we're gonna give it a couple of kicks and hit with a hammer and see what happens. Hopefully it's smooth. Okay, so we got all the bolts out, we got the railing out, and everything is good. So you guys will see here it's a little bit rough and a little bit imperfections, high spots and low spots. So I'm gonna clean this up using this diamond blade grinding disc just to smooth it out all the way through. So when I paint it, hopefully it will be pretty smooth and even all the way through. carpets off pretty easy. However, there is a lot of glue left on here. The owner decided, was scared probably that the carpet's gonna blow away or something, so he made sure it's glued down. So I got a bunch of different things that I'm gonna try to get this glue off. I'm gonna do my best to get it as clean as possible so I can re-glue new threads on top of it. So wish me luck.
First one fail?
Yeah, now it's on to the next one.
Looks like back-breaking work.
It's not fun, but it's gotta be done if you wanna do it right. Sometimes you just gotta do it the old-fashioned way, you know?
It looks like it. We went to the store and got 4 different tools.
Yeah. Okay, so that only took about 3 hours. A little bit tired on this side, but you guys can see here all the glue is off. I know it doesn't look pretty yet, but there's a whole pile of glue that I had to chip off. So I'm gonna take that diamond blade and then run the grinder through it and try to get it as smooth as possible. Big one.
It's a big one right there.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm quickly gonna explain to you guys. So obviously in the hole, we're gonna fill it up with some concrete, and then on the top, I'm gonna secure it onto this concrete slab using a big bolt like this. So I'm gonna drill it through and then secure it right there. As you guys can see where I made my markings. So I'm gonna drill a hole through there and then drill into the concrete and then get this anchor in there. Okay, so I just marked out the center of this post. That's where I'm gonna drill a hole into the staircase where I'm gonna secure it with a bolt like this, and then we're gonna put some concrete in the base. I'm gonna use the hammer drill to drill the hole into the concrete for the bolt. Okay, so I'm using a fast setting concrete. What's nice about this, you can pour it in dry and just add water, so you don't have to pre-mix it or anything like that, which is a lot easier, and it's not structural, so it's not that important. It's just to kind of keep it in place. Water. Need to stop paying my gym fees. I'll take my muscles back. I got the 2 posts in. I got this top beam on top, and now I'm just gonna put in another 4x4 support here in the middle. So I'll just have extra support so it's not like flimsy right here in the middle. I'm cutting it at a 35-degree angle because that is the gradient of the staircase and how I cut the other post so far. So 35 is the angle that I work with, and everything is 35 on that staircase. Get your pizza slice. So what I did here is I just temporarily secured it to this beam so I can see where it's going to be, because I'm also going to secure it with one of those concrete bolts. So I just want to make sure it's lining up, and then yeah. Okay, so I want to secure it on this step, but to get it square, it's sticking out in front, so I need to loosen it. Change this angle slightly. The angle is slightly off, maybe like a degree, not even, just to get it nice and smooth and flush. And then I should be able to secure my concrete anchor right here.
So did that little degree help?
Yeah, so now we square there, and there's hardly any gap up there. So this is where our post needs to go. And then I think I'm gonna make a my bolts right there. Okay, there's probably some people that are wondering why I didn't use the existing bolts that's already there. The reason for that is the previous owner used 2x4s and I'm using 4x4, so these bolts were too short. So if you can see, that's kind of where they were, and if I put my post right next to it, I would not be able to screw that tightly. So that's the reason why I put in new bolts. This is the bottom part of the railing, and then I'm gonna put a 2x6 on top of it. So all of this is gonna be black, and then the 2x6 on top will be stained as the countertops on top.
Cool.
Tops, a lot of tops there. Top to the top.
Got your squint glasses on?
Oh yeah. Okay, so we got the super long bolt, which will be long enough for this 4x4 so I can still tighten it. However, it is at the wrong location. I don't want the post there. I want the post right in the corner. So I'm gonna have to do it like I did it on that side so the post can line up perfectly.
How do you get those bolts out?
I'm gonna use the grinder and just cut them as close to the wall as possible. Okay guys, so it is actually the next day here, and as you guys just saw, I finished up these hand railings for the stairs, and now it's time for the next step. I am going to be painting these purple staircases black with these handrails, which I'm very excited about. I'm tired of looking at these purple stairs since the day we moved in. It is a little bit chillier today. If it gets any colder, I might have to put on another pair of shorts. However, it's time for me to paint these stairs and handrails. I am going to put carpet threads on top of the steps, so whenever somebody comes out the lake or wet, they don't slip, and we just want to make sure everybody stays safe. So yeah, it's going to be off to painting. Okay, so as you guys see, I'm using basically the same setup as I did before. The only thing is, on this spray gun there is a setting that I changed. So before it was like a wide spray, so it makes a bigger fan, and then I'm going to change it to a more narrower fan that will help paint the post a little bit more even, and I don't have as much overspray. Put in the plastic, open the paint, pour the paint. That's what happens if you look at the camera, not what you're doing. So we got everything painted black the way we wanted, and it's looking good, and now it's time to paint the steps. We're gonna paint it the same color as the floor we did, just to kind of break it up, give it a little bit of contrast, and then the carpets we're gonna put on top of it, the threads, is also gonna be black, so there's a little bit of contrast. So yeah, now it's time to paint some gray. So this is going to be the top piece of the handrail. I am going to sand it and stain it and put polyurethane on it. This is a regular wood, it's not treated, so that's why I'm going to put polyurethane on it to make it last a little bit longer. I'm going to do it on both sides. It's going to be a little bit more maintenance over the time. However, I can do it now and I don't have to wait for treated wood to dry a very long period of time before I can stain or work on it. So that's the reason why I chose regular wood instead of treated wood. And now it's time for some sanding. Let's get to it. So now it's time for some staining. Before I get into that, I want to give you guys a quick tip or what I like to do. So obviously you gotta sand it really good, because when you put stain on it, the wood will show you every little imperfection there is. Another tip is when you wipe off your project or wood piece that you plan to stain is to use a damp rag. That way the wood pores open up and it absorbs your stain a lot better and you have a smoother finish. So let me show you guys how this turns out. So for the next step, I am using this oil-based polyurethane, which I'm going to put onto this handrail. It is a warm semi-gloss, which will help with the durability and the cleaning of this handrail, and I think it will last a long time. So I'm going to get to it. Okay guys, so it is early morning here. The sun is still rising, as you can tell. So I let these handrails with the polyurethane set overnight and dry pretty good. So I'm going to give it a light sand with a 320 grit, very fine paper, and give it another coat of polyurethane to get it that extra smooth. I am taking a little bit more time doing these handrails because it's going to be one of the first things you see when you walk up into the outdoor kitchen. So I want to make it look really good and stand out a little bit. Let me get to sanding and put another coat of polyurethane on it. So we are ready to put in some cables into this railing that I've already installed. And I'm going to take you guys step by step and show you how to install cable railing. Super easy, anybody can do it. Here are the tools that you will need to get this project done. I would highly recommend to have a jig. That'll definitely help you line up your holes, and then a drill to make holes for your cable to go through, a measuring tape to get the spacing in between, a cable cutter, a crimper, and then a couple of clamps to hold your jig to your post or wherever you want to put your cable railing. And then this is optional. This is just like little filler pieces that covers up the holes where the cable go in. It's a nice finish. And then your lag or your securing bolts where your cable attaches to. One thing I quickly want to talk about before I get started is these anchor bolts. So the reason why I chose them is because they are right threaded and left threaded, which means righty tighty, lefty loosey, and then righty loosey, lefty tighty. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but what that means is when you have your cables in your location, you turn both these screws in the same direction, which is gonna then basically tighten your cable. And I like that because if it was the same thread, it'll basically twist your cable if you turn the opposite direction. So you wanna have it smooth and looking good. Okay, so I'm actually gonna eyeball it a little bit to get this angle right. Usually a lot of times you get jigs that's specifically 30 degrees. However, this is 35 degrees. So I'm basically gonna line it up and then make sure this distance is kind of parallel to that beam. So if it's close enough, it will work. Okay, so for the ones at the end, I'm not drilling all the way through. I'm basically just going through and make a mark on the post because I'm drilling a thicker hole for the bolt at the end that goes into it, and you don't want a hole all the way through. So there I got all my marks, and now I'm just gonna make the holes a little bit thicker for that lag bolt. Okay, now I'm gonna drill the holes for this little grommet that's gonna go over the cable and have a smooth finish on this post. So I'm gonna drill this a little bit on this side and then also a little bit on that side, so that way you'll have a smooth finish on the wood. Okay, so the first thing I do after I drill the holes is I turn these bolts in almost all the way, leaving about a quarter to a half inch left. So I do that on both sides, top and bottom, or left and right, depending on your application. And then I'm gonna put my cable in here, crimp it down, and then do it on both sides. And then that little bit will turn it in and that'll tighten it up. And then that is about how much of the insulation I'm gonna take off. So it's gonna be cable going in there, and then I'm gonna crimp that right there. As you guys can see, I got my cable crimped, but it's still very loose. So I'm gonna tighten it with those couple of threads that I left on both sides, and it should tighten up all the way. And there you guys have it, super tight, can probably play almost guitar on it. Now I just gotta do it 9 more times. Okay, so the only thing that is a little bit tedious is to turn this in with this little tool that is provided. So you can only do a little turn at a time like that. Okay, and there you have it. The cable railing is installed. It is super simple, very easy. One thing I would like to add about this cable railing system is that I got it actually from Amazon. You can get all the tools you need for this. It's super easy and convenient. I would leave a link in the description below so you guys can see what I used, and then just kind of go from there. Super easy, super simple, very DIY friendly. Okay, here's a quick tip that I figured out right at the end, and I wish I thought about this a little bit sooner, is these lag bolts that I actually can drive in using a drill, so I don't have to use that little tool. So let me show you how much quicker it can actually be. It's easy as that. Okay, so the cables are in and done. We can mark that off the box. And now it's time to put on these handrails that I've been sanding and stained. And then the final step will be to put on carpet threads. So yeah, getting close. Okay, I just want to show you guys quickly what I did here before I put the handrail on. I pre-drilled some screws in, so it just makes it a lot easier for me to screw down that thing without holding the screw and trying to hold everything at the same time while screwing.
So what did you guys think of all of that DIY pro tips?
Yeah, so we transformed that staircase and it looks epic.
I love it. I truly, truly do. I know we wanted to do a shout out.
Yeah, so this week's shout out goes to Mission See the World, aka Danny and Kevin. They are very active in the comments and they give us lots of loving. And one of our latest comments, or their latest comments, is they ask where I get the supplies from. And where do I get tiles from, Thailand and so forth. So mostly I get things from Amazon. The general stuff I get from Lowe's and Home Depot, but the tiling specific, I went to a tile shop which got a big variety and they imported the tiles for us.
Yeah, and not only are they giving some lots of love in our comment, we also want to give them a lot of love. They just got engaged.
Yeah, so huge congrats.
Yes, they just got engaged on a rooftop. No, sorry, not a rooftop.
A mountaintop.
Mountaintop in Italy.
Yeah,
they're epic. Yeah, guys, if you really love traveling, they're definitely people to follow. Danny and Kev, we love you so much.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, so really excited. Remember, we have new episodes every single Sunday. Next week, we're going to button up a lot of things. And we actually have a spooky surprise because we're having a Halloween party. Yeah. So we're going to be able to share that with you guys. It's going to be at the Rooftop bar. So you'll really get to see some dramatic and spooky changes.
Yeah, until next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This purple staircase is tedious. Not tedious. And then I will be taking this off. I'm gonna.
It's a big hole.
So these are...
Who thought digging a hole could look so good?
Yeah, it hurts so bad. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that?